Hey everyone, it's me again, and I have a much anticipated review for you today. The review that I've got going on is for the Lorac PRO Contour palette. I talked about this a little bit last week when I uploaded an eye tutorial using the Pro Contour palette. I'll put the video right there if you haven't seen it. It's gonna be in the cards, mobile cards up there. P.S. If you guys want to see a tutorial for this eye look and this lip, let me know. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up button and I'll make a video for it. It was pretty easy. The contour palette. This contour palette was released, I would say maybe a month ago, if that. It's pretty recent. I hadn't really seen any videos about it on YouTube, and I can't understand why, because it's a beautiful, beautiful palette. You guys have seen it already, but here's the shades. You've got a light contour, a deep contour, and a medium contour, a beige highlight, a yellow highlight, and a shimmer highlight. So let's go ahead and break this down. The highlight shades, two are matte, one has shimmer. However, I'll go ahead and swatch them for you. There's them on my fingers, and then I'll swatch them on my hand. So there's a swatch of the three highlight shades. Now again, this is a very concentrated swatch, so they're probably not going to look like this on your cheeks, but you can see the level of pigmentation there is just crazy. Like, look at that. So that's beige highlight down there, that's yellow highlight, and that's shimmer highlight. Now, I don't know if it's pulling on camera, but shimmer highlight doesn't really have a whole lot of like high intensity shimmer to it. So if you're the kind of person who really likes that kind of really intense, like strobing, dewy highlight, then shimmer highlight is not going to give that. But what shimmer highlight is going to do is it's going to give you this very soft, glow from within kind of look. It's not going to be nearly as intense as this. I did not use the shimmer highlight shade today. I used Mary Luminizer because I was looking for something a little more intense. If you want something that's very soft, very subtle, maybe like a work-friendly highlight, if you will, then shimmer highlight is great for that. The other two are matte highlight powders, so they're, again, very subtle, very natural. All three of them are very creamy, very pigmented, and very easy to blend. They're typical Lorac Pro formula colors, great for use on the eyes too. Beige highlight and the yellow highlight are really, really good for setting under the eyes and things like that. You'll see that in the demonstration here in a moment. Now, the one thing I do love about this contour palette, as opposed to other ones that I've run into and swatched and things like that, is this contour palette, all of the contour shades are cool in undertone. When you're talking about contour, you're wanting to create a natural shadow to the face. So you're not going to want anything warm, you're not going to want anything shimmery, you're going to want something that mimics shadow. And shadows are naturally gray in color, like a grayish undertone. So you're going to want something that's like a taupey gray-brown, and all of these are cool toned brown shades. You should probably go light-handed with these because they can get very intense very quickly. So use a light hand, use a fluffy brush if you want something soft. Now, this palette does come with a brush, which is another benefit to it, I think, is that, you know, not only are you getting the palette, you're also getting a brush. So that's kind of a plus on the value side of things. But this brush is sort of like the NARS Ita brush. It's that really popular brush right now. It's very, very dense and very short, very soft, very, very comfortable to use on the face, but it's very, very dense and short. And basically what I've run into with a lot of these kind of brushes is it creates a very harsh, intense line of color, but they can't blend them out. So I was a little bit worried when I got this brush because it's so dense and so short. I was afraid that there was no way it was going to be able to blend these colors, but it did. It actually does a very, very good job at blending out the contour once it places it. It doesn't hold a lot of product in the bristles, so you can blend with the same brush you applied with, and it's not just going to push color all over the place. As you can see, I did a pretty soft contour today, and I only used this brush. This brush can also be used to apply highlight. You can use the sides of the brush right here, kind of paddle style, to press highlight under the eyes, to run highlight down the nose. It's a very good multi-purpose brush that really surprised me. The contour shades in particular, the shade range is fantastic. You have a light shade for people who are fairer skin toned like myself. You've got a medium shade for kind of people in the middle, and then you've got a deep contour shade that is going to be perfect for women of color or, you know, darker and deeper skin tones, because it's cool toned enough that it's going to look like a natural shadow on a woman of color, but it's not going to make her look ashy, which a lot of contour powders tend to do. But at the same time, using a warm contour powder isn't really what you're looking to do there either. I will say that this is slightly smaller than I was expecting it to be. When I saw the pictures of the palette online, I thought it was going to be huge. Like, I thought it was going to be the size of the Mega Pro palette or something. But here's it in comparison to a normal Lorac palette, like the normal Pro palette. You can see it's a little bit shorter, but it's a little bit fatter, which I think is kind of appropriate. It's made of the same kind of packaging that Lorac's Pro line is known for. Very, very thin, very kind of cardboard packaging with this kind of velvet feel top to it. It looks very professional. I wouldn't necessarily say this is the most durable packaging in the world, but I've traveled with Lorac's Pro Formula palettes and none of them have broken on me. So I mean, I would usually, with any makeup that I'm packing, wrap it in bubble wrap anyway, just to be safe, no matter how secure the packaging feels. Whenever you're traveling with these, put some bubble wrap over it or something, because there's always a risk of it breaking. So, now that I've got my initial thoughts out of the way and shown you swatches and everything like that, I will go ahead and cut to a demonstration of this contour palette. So stay tuned and I will show you guys how I used it today. Hey everyone, okay, let's go ahead and get this demo started. First, I'm gonna go ahead and take an e.l.f. blush brush and I'm gonna take the beige highlight, this one right here, and I am going to use that under my eyes. Now, normally you would expect to use the yellow highlight under your eyes because it would be a lot more brightening, but from my experience at least, the yellow highlight is just a little bit dark on me, so if you have a more medium, kind of like a Latin skin tone, that would probably work better for you than the beige highlight, but hey, this is a Pro contour palette, so it's meant to have a bunch of different options for you. This powder legit lasts longer than the setting powder I used to use to set under my eyes. Like, concealer don't crease, nothing moves, everything is perfect and beautiful. Sometimes I will use this yellow powder if, like for example right now, my foundation is a little bit too orange on me, so often I will use this yellow powder just kind of in any areas where I'm seeing a lot of color correction needing done. Most of the time that's like down by my jawline, around the perimeter of my face, just as like an evener, just to even my foundation tone out because this foundation isn't quite the right shade on me. Now, the contouring. I'm going to take the brush that came with the palette. It's a nice little short, dense, thick paddle brush. Looks kind of like the Ita brush. Lots of drugstore alternatives to the Ita brush coming out right now, and I'm going to go into the light contour, and I'm just going to go straight under the cheek and make a line like that and start to kind of blend up and down, but mostly I kind of start above the line and blend downward just to keep things elevated. And then you can turn the brush to the side and blend that way as well, and basically you can just layer on these products until you're happy with the result. So you could just leave this like this and have a pretty soft carved out cheekbone, but I can go a little bit further here and I will go up by my eye right here and just contour that little area right next to my eye, because that, you know, a lot of people don't don't think to contour in this area, but it will actually pull your face backward. And then because my face is very square in shape, usually I don't need to contour my jaw because I have a pretty strong jaw to begin with, but what I can do is take this around my hairline just to round out the top of my face. So like, it's easier for, this is why I like contouring demonstrations, because it's really easy for you guys to see my face shape because I'm bald. So I have these little dips in my hairline. You can see where this one is right there. I like to contour just in that dip a little bit, just to round out my face a little bit more, because it can look quite angular up there. And I found that with square face shapes, when you do this, it makes your forehead look a touch smaller. And then I'll just contour the other cheek. Again, taking that same brush and drawing a line, and then starting to blend that line up and down, side to side. Now, if I were to create a little bit more of an intense contour, what I would probably do is take the medium contour shade, because I've just been using the light contour shade this whole time, because it's just soft and subtle enough on my skin to resemble a natural shadow. But if I wanted something a little bit more intense, I could take the medium contour shade right here and just go really deep into that cheekbone and really blend it out to create a nice, intense contour. And then of course you can contour your jaw if you want to, but the last step in my contour routine typically will be to take my contour shade again and just do a little bit under the front of my jaw. I call this the instant lipo, because sometimes due to my lack of a chin, I can look like I have a little bit of a double chin going on under here, so I just kind of swipe that down under there, just under the front, to even that flesh out. And there you go, that is my basic contour demonstration of this palette. Now let's get back to the review. Alright, I'm back. So I hope you guys found that little demonstration helpful. Now I'm going to go ahead and look at the listing on Ulta. Now this is an Ulta exclusive product, so you can't find it on Lorac's website, can't find it anywhere else. It's exclusive to Ulta. Go pro with Lorac PRO Contour Palette. Created by celebrity makeup artist Carol Shaw, this pro artistry palette contains 2 matte highlighters, 1 shimmer highlighter, and 3 matte contour shades to easily create perfectly sculpted features. Lorac's velvety smooth, blendable highlighting and contouring powders are oil and fragrance free and are ultra pigmented, so you can highlight and contour just like a pro. Pro Contour Palette comes complete with an exclusive custom Pro Contour brush. The unique dome shape allows for effortless application and control, a pro must-have. Made from synthetic material, the Pro brush hair is hygienic and easy to clean between applications. Not really a whole lot of claims there. I mean, and all of the claims that they make on the website are 100% true. These powders are creamy, they're pigmented, they're blendable, so you can create a soft contour or a more intense one. They've got shades that are suitable for all skin tones and types. These powders are oil-free. Oil-free powder. I thought all powders were oil-free. Well, not necessarily. Some pressed powders will use oil to kind of make a paste before they press the eyeshadow, and oil-based, powders that have oil as kind of an emulsifier can clog pores and cause breakouts. This particular palette has not caused any breakouts on me, and I am extremely acne prone. Fragrance-free. Fragrance-free is another really, really good plus for this palette, because powders and makeup products that have fragrance in them can really irritate people with sensitive skin. So I too have sensitive skin, and that's something that I have to keep in mind, because if something is super, super heavily fragranced, my skin might freak out. My skin hasn't freaked out from this product at all. It's been great, probably because it's fragrance-free, so another plus to keep in mind. Now let's talk value. This palette is currently being sold on Ulta's website with the brush included for $45. Now, do I think that is a good price for this and for the brush? I would say absolutely. So basically, with this palette, you are getting approximately 20 grams in total product. That might not be as much product as you'd get with something like Anastasia Beverly Hills or Kat Von D necessarily, but 20 grams is a good amount of product for what you're using this for. I mean, because these are so pigmented, you only need a teeny tiny amount. So this is gonna take a decent amount of time to go through. This is like idiot proof. You pick the shade that you think is going to suit your skin tone best. They're great to play with, even if you go a little bit too dark. The first time I used this, I used the medium contour shade. It was a little bit too dark for me at the time, but I just blended it out, and it blended out very smoothly and just created a very, you know, rather intense, slightly less natural contour. So ultimately, is this worth it? Would I suggest you pick it up? Absolutely, especially if you are a huge fan of the Lorac Pro palettes. If you love that formula of powder, you should definitely pick this up because this is the exact same formula. Dead similar. I swatched the eyeshadows next to these guys and they felt identical. So this is something you can use on your face, you can use it on your eyes, you can use it all over the place. I've created whole looks pretty much just using this and some lipstick. Like, it's a very, very handy palette to have around. It's idiot proof, so you don't really have to second guess yourself. Everything is laid out very smoothly for you, and in case you're really lost on what to do, they include an instructional guide filled with tips on how to contour everything from your cheeks to your jaw to your nose, highlighting your under eyes. It covers everything in very, very easy to understand language. So you've got that in case you get lost. But honestly, I didn't even really need to read that because this is really kind of self-explanatory. It's easy to explore and figure out. It's a lot of fun. The brush is very soft, surprisingly blends product beautifully. It's made of synthetic fibers, so it's going to be easy to clean. I can't say enough good things about this palette, guys. Truly and honestly, this is like, if you're going to get one contour kit of any of the ones I've seen, this is the one to get. I hope you guys found this review helpful. If you did, there's a button for that. Spank that like button in the butt, you know it deserves it. And if you want to see more from me, subscribe and become a member of the faithful today, and I will see you guys in the next video. Toodles!